Hi, Scott Orlin with CINEMA-Magazin. You know this woman, incredibly famous, incredibly talented, Zoe Saldana.
Yay!
This time for the movie Live by Night. You know, Hollywood has historically, going back to its origins, the gangster flick, you know, that we've been fascinated by that. This is the first time I think you got to put on some shoes and dance in that arena. What are those movies like for you?
It was fun. It was tons of fun at first, you know, and then once I started diving into it and putting Graciela together and doing my research, I grew very, very empathetic to what those times must have been like for Americans and for the new Americans as well, because you're sort of you're treated like a child, you know, and you're taking things. There are things that are being taken from you, and you're not granted the right to choose for yourself. So that brought in a certain kind of rebellion amongst the communities, and I feel like in that aspect there was a universality. I hope I just made up this word, but there was where everybody was just rebellious and they were just going to live by night and do their own thing. So for me, it was educational, it was informative, it was inspiring.
What I loved about your character, you don't mess with this woman.
No.
I mean, that sometimes there's a passivity. That's
Yeah.
passivity.
You did it.
I did it on the first time.
We're making up words.
And this is for Germany, and they're like, going to know it anyway. But we don't see that with her at all. We know that if you cross the line with her, there's going to be some kind. How much do you identify with that? I mean, it's important to have that sense of strength in female characters.
Well, I mean, Graciela is Caribbean, and there's a confidence that the Caribbean culture has that is autonomous to even Latin America and any other community in the world, and I think that for Graciela, she's educated. She comes from wealth, and wealth is measured differently where she comes from, where it's by how cultured you are, how educated, how well mannered, how you treat your land, how you treat your community, how you treat yourself and others, and I feel like that's how she measures a human being. So I don't think she wastes her time dealing with just aggression or injustices by a population that is highly uneducated, not hygienic, and not worldly at all. So I feel like Graciela and her brother find it kind of comical, but they're weary and they watch themselves because they can very well get themselves hurt. But that part of Graciela was easy for me to access because I grew up in the Caribbean. My roots are Caribbean, and it has nothing to do with arrogance. It's just a humility and a sense of self that Caribbean people possess. Maybe because we were sheltered and completely disregarded by everybody, so we were able to just focus on our upbringing and the riches that we have around us, from the ocean to our trees to our people, and there's very little time to think about how less you are or more compared to a person. So Graciela and her brother embody that, and I wanted her to do that. I wanted her to be like that, and those were endless conversations that I had with Ben. But I'm like, no, if Graciela's in the business of dealing with molasses, that means that she comes from a family that owned land and has been dealing with making molasses, and because it's all part of the sugarcane plantation, and the agriculture at that time was the #1 source of commerce that brought so many cultures from the Middle East, from Asia, to the Caribbean and Central and South America. So I'm like,
molasses is also rum.
Exactly. So
do you know a good rum?
I do. It's called Brugal.
Just to check it. And just a last quick question for you, and that is, you mentioned Ben Affleck. Is it disconcerting at all that your lead co-star is also your director? I mean, are there moments where he's back and forth with the camera?
In theory, you walk in kind of feeling like, I don't know how he's going to do it, and then he just does it, and he does it wonderfully, and he doesn't mix one hat with the other, and I really have a great sense of respect for him for doing that. It's a lot of work, but then again, I think that he signed up for it knowing that he was going to rest when it was all done.
Yeah, because he had someone like you to begin the co-star thing.
And an amazing
as
cast.
always, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
This is Scott Orlin. Until next time.
Ciao.